Once again, welcome back to Bloodstock TV. We are sitting here with Tom G. Warrior from Triptykon. How are you today? You very well?
I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us here on this busy day. So look, I just want to jump into it straight away. So the resurrection of the Celtic Frost classics in the live show, prior to the decision to do that, was the overall kind of catalyst, was it just a lot of the online community kind of asking for it, and what was the tipping point for you to say, okay, I'm going to do this?
Money. No, you have to understand that Celtic Frost is constantly a part of my life, and for me it's not an abstract thing to look at it now. It's always a part of my thinking as a musician. I owe everything to Celtic Frost. I wrote all these songs, and they're always part of my life. And we played various of the Celtic Frost songs over the years in Triptykon. And I was actually always thinking about one day we'll do a concert with just Celtic Frost songs. But I was going to do it maybe after the third album or so. But then a promoter came to us with the idea, and he asked, "Would you be up for playing the very early Celtic Frost material on stage?" And it caught us by surprise, and we discussed it in detail in Triptykon. I wanted to be respectful. I told the other guys, look, this is Triptykon, we have our own music, our own identity. I don't want to force this on you. Can you live with this? Is this fine for you? And everybody said, look, we are here because of Celtic Frost. We're all fans of Celtic Frost. That's why we're in Triptykon. So when I had the feeling everybody was artistically on deck for this, so we said yes, and it turned out to be
amazing.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, just the reaction from just all over the world, people just kind of so excited about it.
It's like a time travel for me, of course. Dealing with these songs in detail, like listening back to them, rehearsing them in detail, it's like a film in some cases.
I was going to ask, did it kind of rake up a lot of kind of memories that you?
Of course, I mean, it was a very unique and intense time. We were very young, full of testosterone. We wanted to prove ourselves, and a lot of memories come back, of course. I have to say though, the money thing was a joke. It's actually a huge privilege to be here 40 some years later and be granted to play these songs. I didn't think that would ever happen when I wrote these songs in '84 or so. It's a huge privilege, and I owe it all to the audience. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you had set out to do that in the first place, it never would have been what it was. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that it's being kept alive by the community of fans all around the world, and
that's the sole reason why it's kept alive. Because initially, most people, at least in our home country, laughed about this music, the very same songs, and it was the audiences who gave us a chance, step by step, and it blows my mind that we're here 40 years later and we're playing this.
Fantastic. I'll tell you what blew my mind was when I first saw the Dance Macabre box set. It's one of the finest box sets I think I've ever seen. It's just beyond impressive in every little tiny detail. And I know that obviously Miles and BMG worked extremely hard on this. You were obviously every little detail collectively together. You guys produced this amazing thing. When you first that landed and you opened that and you had it in your hands, was it just a huge moment for you to see? It's so grand and
well, you know, I'm a fan. You know, I'm a lifelong music fan, and I have tons of box sets by other bands at my home, Black Sabbath and everything. And I always felt that if you get a box set, it's like being knighted as a musician.
Right, yeah.
And I never thought that Celtic Frost would have a box set.
Lovely way to put it, yeah.
And the other thing is BMG could have done whatever they wanted with this material. They have the rights to it. But they actually approached me and offered to collaborate with me, and they listened to my ideas, they listened to my proposals, they involved me deeply in the creation of this box, and I appreciate that to no end. It's like the opposite of what noise records used to be in the mid-1980s.
Right.
BMG are really making up for this, and I'm extremely grateful for this. And this is what made such a lavish box set possible in the first place.
To me, it's the pinnacle of box sets. I mean, I'm struggling to try and find someone that's even close to it, but it is amazing.
You know, you shouldn't be drinking before interviews.
I haven't drank in days. I should have, I think, maybe at this stage. Okay, look, Morbid Tales is turning 40 next year. Are there any plans to do something around that to mark that? Or
Well, as I said, I
Have you
was
thought that far?
going to do Celtic Frost tribute concert after Triptykon's next album, which should be released next year.
Okay.
But now we're doing it already. We're basically celebrating Celtic Frost already as it is. And this is actually by demand of the audiences. So, I mean, I don't need some cheesy jubilee to play this music. People actually ask me to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a much better reason than to use a commercial date. But I mean, Tryptykon has played Celtic Frost material before, always, and we'll do it afterwards. And maybe one day we'll revisit the Into Pandemonium album. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
There's endless
Yeah.
opportunities.
I mean, we don't want to overdo it either.
Yeah.
I don't want it to look like a cash grab, because it's not. I want to do it as long as you feel good about this and genuine about this. It has to be artistically right, you know. And we're still Triptykon after all.
Yeah, of course. And you just mentioned there is a new Triptykon album
Absolutely.
due next year.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's the legacy of Celtic Frost. Triptykon is basically the continuation of Celtic Frost with a new name. There's 2 ex-Celtic Frost members in the band, and you know.
With Shatter, that I can't believe that came out in 2010. It's an exceptionally difficult vinyl to find. Would there be any thoughts on possibly repressing that?
I would love that. I'm the first one to agree with this. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So I mean, has there been talk about it, or is that something that is kind of?
Well, I think we will approach the record company when we do the new album, because it makes sense to
Yeah.
combine all of this.
Yeah.
I always thought H.R. Giger gave us 3 artworks for the Triptykon albums, and it would also be nice to have a Triptykon triptych, and so on. I mean, there's a lot of ideas. We'll see. Next year there's probably a lot of things,
Okay, fantastic.
unless I die before.
No, don't say that. Do not say that.
I'd love to say that.
There's lots more that you need to do while you're still here. Believe me. Just a little.
There are many who say I've done too much.
Well, no. Who knows? Just with tape trading, it was such an incredible, important part of the underground and extreme music. I mean, it really was quite incredible what happened, and it unified so many people around the world. And that is gone. It's gone. My question to you is: do you feel that the sort of the mystery and romanticism from discovering new music, and especially underground music, is just something of a memory now, because it was such a magical time with discovering music and not really knowing too much about the artist, you know?
Look, that's a very difficult topic. I agree with you, and if I start to embellish all of that, it makes me sound like a dinosaur. The thing is, young fans of today they grew up into a completely different world, and they probably won't understand what we are even talking about. And that's not meant to be disrespectful. It's just a different world. But I agree with you. It was magical, and tape trading was one of the main reasons that I'm even here today.
Yeah.
And of course, you had to prove that you're a fanatic. You had to drive to record stores in other cities to see if they had one single record that they imported, or you had to find the right addresses for tape traders. You had to really put an effort into discovering music, and you had to show that you really mean it. It wasn't just a click away. But as I say, if I say that, it sounds like I'm a dinosaur, because having music by click is of course also fantastic. I wish we had that at the time. There's good things and bad things about both approaches. What can I say? But yeah, the magic, of course, the mystique is lacking, and that's I lament that, of course.
Very good. Okay, well, I'm just conscious of time, and I know that you have to go and prepare for the show later this evening. And I just wanted to once again thank you so much for joining us here on
Thank you
Bloodstock
for
TV.
having me.
And it's an absolute honor to have you back at this festival, up on that stage, doing what you do. And we're all just very excited about it. And
Same here.
we hope to see you back in a few more years as well. Awesome.
If I'm still alive.
Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Tom, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.